Hello, hello, hello. Thursday. 1 second, I'm looking something up. Hey, Frank. I'll be Frank. There was something. Oh, it was so funny. I was trying to find it. Hey, Punkette. Hold on, guys. I gotta find one thing. How was everybody's Sunday? How was the weather where you guys are? Hey, so done with it? Can't find it. Hey, Tia. Well, I had something I thought I was gonna use. Would you? For us, it was insane. We had my son's party, like friends over Friday. It's raining here and I'm nursing it. Punkette. Standard weather, I'll be frank. Even though it rains a lot, I've heard it's a lot of fun. I've heard living in the UK is awesome, but I don't know. Um, Yesterday we had a birthday party and then we went to the who doesn't feel good? Oh, Hangover. And then we went to the movies to see Jurassic World. I thought it was okay because I've never seen the rest of them, but my kids and my husband didn't think it was that good. Um, and then today, uh, we went to my in-laws, and my brother-in-law is back from overseas. He's in the Navy. I'll be frank. And so my sister-in-law was in town for that. All their kids together and they did this weekend. So it was pretty awesome day today. It was beautiful out. So I shaded greasy. All right, see Punkette, there you go. Did you? I'll be frank, I liked it too. I liked it too, the new one, the Dominion, but my husband said if you saw the other ones, you didn't like this as much, but I did, so but I haven't seen the other ones. Um, I don't know. Oh, I want to say something to okay. Ruth Ann Smith. I've seen her kicked out of so many communities. Ruth Ann, you are no longer welcome here if you're going to come onto my community post and ever say something. First of all, okay, I did delete what she says. You guys know I'm pretty fair. Hey, LFT, about everyone being welcomed. Um, but on one of my lives about Uvalde, she said if I didn't, unless I lived in Texas, then I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't typically address, but I'm going to address her because she's nasty. And I've seen her nasty about everyone. Ruth Ann, I did live in Texas for 7 years. Um, and I don't need to live in Texas to know people that are firsthand involved. Okay. So I am going to address whatever I want, and I probably know a little more than you even think I do, because you know what? I don't just research myself. I reach out to people like Remy and other people in this chat, Punkette, who know things as well. So I'm sorry that you feel I am not qualified to speak on it because I don't currently live in Texas on Uvalde, but I'm going to speak on what I would like. In the future, Ruth Ann, if you would like to visit my channel, you are welcome to in a respectful manner. Have a great day. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what living in Texas has anything to do with whether or not I know anything about Uvalde. So, anyways, okay then. Um, through a bra and ready to chat. I am. Mine is. I know. My parents are out of town for my grandmother's memorial and we're taking care of their dogs who aren't here. They're over at their house. So my husband and my daughter spent the night over there. If I Oh, Punkat, I'll look at it. Okay, thank you, Punkat. See? Exhibit, another exhibit. Punkat asked for me. We research in many different places. That's apparently, Remy, apparently. Apparently, okay? Hey, One Red Rose. In this community, at least right here in my chat, we all use each other and research with each other. That's kind of how it rolls. Hey, Cool Gamer. So these two dogs are puppies. They're lab retriever mix, and when they're 10 months old. When I tell you that something is wrong with them, it's maddening. Like, they don't stop chewing up things. It's just I'm just ranting for a second. Hold on. Yeah, I know, I'll be frank. I was just a little caught off guard, like, "What?" I know, Remy, and usually I don't even if she hasn't she's been nasty to several all creators, so it doesn't bother me. It was more just caught me off guard because everybody I'm usually pretty I mean, I don't know, we have really good cut. They do, Remy. My mom said that when she comes back, when they come back, they're getting fixed and that should calm them down. I think actually the last because they're like my parents' children basically. So I think it's because they're mad. The routine is different because they just left a couple days ago, and so that might be why they're chewing things up more and stuff. Oh, Punkette, you should be a mod. I don't know why. Yeah, yeah. No, this is our chat is good, and everyone in comments. It just that one was like, if you don't live there in big letters, you know nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, I did live there. Thank you. And I speak to people there. But anyways, I wanted to fill you guys in on I know we had talked about Aiden Clune last week. They are going to he is the boy that I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to watch Sleuth Mom or not. Yeah, absolutely, Tia. Absolutely. Oh, Remy, I know. Um, Aiden Clune is the boy. So after hearing the full story, it does seem like Aiden had a mental break. One thing I didn't know that I think is very important, and I want to share it with you guys because somebody sent this to me that's very passionate about this subject, and it's a video we're gonna watch, and there was a reason we're gonna watch it. So remember I told you that the police officer came to check Aiden. Aiden his last ping was like 8:30 something and then a police officer came at 8:50. I'll be frank, if you're still here, correct me if I'm wrong on timelines. Um oh, Tia, you're good. I trust you. So what I ended up finding out, the truth was that the highway patrol came and they didn't look for him. They gave him a ticket for an abandoned car. So they think Aiden was probably running from this. Michelle K, I've missed you. Oh, I've been so worried about you. Oh my gosh, really? DJ Trap Boy, please don't troll. Yeah, that's what I thought. How do I get rid of you from here? There we go. This guy has been making rounds the past 2 days. Um, So I'll be frank says someone tried to scam his mom. They were posting comments, then messaged the mom for oh my gosh. I'll be frank. I am so sorry. So we ended up finding out that the highway patrol gave a ticket to True Remy, Aiden's car for being abandoned, but they did not look for Aiden until the next day. And if you weren't the gist of it all, and Frank, make sure I'm gathering this correctly, is it does seem that the direction Aiden went to, he was most likely trying to get to the top of a hill to be able to call. So it's just a tragic situation. So somebody sent me this today and was really really upset about this video. We're gonna watch like a few minutes of it because I think it's really important right now What we have seen, no, Michelle K, this is not stupid criminals, but that is going to happen probably tomorrow. What we're talking about now, Aiden Clune, Michelle K was a 19-year-old boy that went missing on April 27th. Aiden, the pandemic, basically, long story short, the pandemic really set Aiden behind. He had gone on an antidepressant and not told his mom or anything. And they believe that the antidepressant, I hope Albie Frank's here because he knows this really well. They believe that the antidepressant um, actually gave him a adverse reaction. You know how sometimes when you do, like especially in teens and whatnot, and it ended up making him go into some sort of it. The best way I can describe it is like a schizophrenic type thing, but a mental break. Well, thank you. He was heading to the mountains and avoiding searchers, and mom believes he headed deeper. Okay. Hi Jen. So yeah, so basically, he got out of his car and ran into the mountains, and the highway patrol stopped about 20 minutes after he got out of his car and gave him a ticket and drove off. Or looked around, I guess looked around. The next day they finally started looking for him. So, um, but the reason this video, so the person that gave me this video was truly upset about it because it happened about 4 weeks ago, and it was a teenager they were attempting to drop off at a mental health facility. Um, and the reason I'm showing this is because the person was upset about it, but also I think it's safe to say on YouTube lately we've had some extreme mental health issues. And I'm not pointing out anybody in general. I'm saying, I mean, I have mental health issues. And I want to be extremely transparent. So this video has a teen in it, right? And this Aiden case has rocked me. And I think it's because I was a teen, I still have a mental health issue. I take medicine every day. I'm very open about that. I've had to work very hard and still work extremely hard to overcome it. Um, but I was the 14-year-old that was going into psychiatric wards, etc. And I'm going to be fully transparent. And it was brutal. I was the 14-year-old that was continually taking pills or going in and out of psychiatric wards. And they weren't always great psychiatric wards. And what you're about to see is heartbreaking because I think what we're seeing on YouTube, well, a lot of it is untreated mental health, but is our teens aren't getting, I'll show you the video. We won't watch the whole thing, but it is very important because not only is the police department, I believe the mental health facility themselves, and I'll tell you what, wait, let me see this, what Remy just said. Oh, I wasn't in a psych ward, just a drug addict and recovering. Oh, congratulations, Remy. That's pretty bad too. I mean, not bad. You know what I'm saying. I'm really proud of you. Mental health has shamed it. Yep, exactly, Michelle K. And I felt that I personally, and I'll be frank, I'm interested to know your thoughts. I felt that the police hasn't helped as much because I don't know how to say this. Aiden was it was a mental health thing, and so for them, he trying to be politically correct, but there's no good way to say it. I don't know. He just yeah. I think you guys know what I'm getting at. Okay. We're just gonna watch a little bit of this because I told her I would share it. This is a teen. Hey, LA. Exactly, Remy. Okay, I'll be frank. Thank you.
It's okay. I'll do it.
I couldn't remember that or if they did or not. That teen boy. I'm saying he's got to be 16 at the most. This is an officer delivering him to a mental health facility.
This temporary detention order says that I am commanded to execute this order and take the juvenile into custody. Yeah, I'd like to speak to somebody because I'm delivering the juvenile. I'll wait right here. Yes, ma'am, I'll wait right here.
Oh yeah, I'll be frank. We're gonna talk about that.
All right.
That yeah, I'm hot mad about that.
So I'm delivering this juvenile. All right. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Oh hi Diana. Hope you had a great day too. . 4 weeks ago, one red rose. Okay, thanks, Tia. Remy, I'll go from in a few sentences, point A to now. In 1 second. Unless Frank can actually probably do it better in the sentences. This one on the camera happened 4 weeks ago in Covington. I would say that kid is probably 15 or 16 at best. This is where it gets ridiculous.
I called my manager.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
For him to have a seat instead of standing for an hour.
Okay. This, I am commanded to execute this order. Okay. I am
in mind there's a
commanded to
child
execute
there.
this order. That's what this paperwork says. That's what this paperwork says. I am commanded to deliver him here. All right. All right. And that's y'all's problem. That's not our problem. I'm fulfilling this, and there's a chair right there. I have this paperwork fulfilled. There's a chair right there. My only obligation is to deliver him to this facility.
No, Michelle,
There's
it's
the
not.
paperwork.
The child is there.
Here's our paperwork. I am commanded to do this. Okay? There is a seat right there. He can sit at and wait.
They're arguing over where he's
All
going
right.
to sit.
And so I am doing what our Commonwealth attorneys, what our Constitution, they said it's unconstitutional. All right. So you need to let this gentleman in your facility, this order is fulfilled. Okay. So he's going to stay right here. Okay. Here's your paperwork. Here's your paperwork. You have a good
Police
day.
officer.
You hang out right here, buddy.
So he leaves him. he leaves him. Yeah, Remy, I'll run through it with you. I'll give you a point A or point B because everything is a lot different than I thought after I listened to Sleuth's mom. Yeah. So, and this is the reason like a lot of this is because I think Aiden didn't get the best. But yeah, so this little baby right here. Yep. So what ended up happening was the cop went on and left and called his supervisor, and the supervisor said, "Did you leave him in a secured area?" And the police officer said, "Yes," which, yep, exactly, Angie baby. Tia, so yeah, so he said, "Yes, it's secure." No, it's not. They literally just had a fight. It makes me all teary-eyed. A mental health worker and a police officer had a fight about who is going to take care of this child and who is going to get him help. They were arguing over, she wanted him to sit outside, he wanted him to sit in the chair inside, and they sat there and argued. The police officer pushed the paper under the chair and left him. Well, it goes on, the supervisor said, "You need to go back. Like, they need to take him. That's all there is to it. They need to take him." That's all he kept saying, is they need to take him right now. You go tell him. Exactly, Tia. So he goes back and realizes that the lady did let him in. Okay, so that's good. But dear Lord, I don't know how that baby was treated when he went inside there. And I do know that, exactly, Remy. I do know that, so in fairness to the police, that woman shouldn't have had to wait for her manager. Like, you take that baby in. Um, but in time, the cops should have never left him there. But this little boy, he can't be over 15 or 16, is just sitting there with no one wanting to help him. And that is so tragic to me. And so now well, yeah, Angie baby, when he went on his his whatever the higher level was like, "You left him? Was it secure?" The cop was like, "Yes," which we know it wasn't. You could just turn around and walk out. But then he was like, "Okay, well, you need to go back and tell that woman she needs to take him or she'll be arrested." Something along those lines. Yeah, exactly, Remy. But it really terrifies me. So both now the police and the mental health facility are being investigated. It really terrifies me, um mental health for these kids, and here's why. So yeah, so he was supposed to let him in. The cop did get in trouble by his commanding officer for leaving him, which he should have. um that, I mean, that's for sure. I just feel so bad that this is where we've come as a country with mental health, that we've really not come very much further. And this is important because, right, yeah, yep, it is, Remy. And I don't even know, I'm just guessing 15. I will say, so with Aiden, if you guys haven't been able to watch that video, to give Remy a few. So Aiden was a very happy boy, worked and all that, but when he had the pandemic hit, his mental health kind of started to decline. Let me see what I'll Be Frank put so I can read it. So basically, he had started a medication that he did not tell his mom what he was on. He was having a bad time. He went to stay with his cousin. Then his cousin said he was acting strange and ran. And I remember, if you guys did watch it, he kept telling his mom that his cousins were like trying to hurt him and stuff. And then he was supposed to go stay with his grandma and grandpa. And then again, he went, it was very similar thing. He was very paranoid. But I will say, I remember somebody that was a psychiatrist saying that it's not uncommon in adolescent schizophrenia for it to start to come to light and exhibit symptoms around the 19 age. Oh, right, I'll be frank. Yes. No, he drove away, Angie baby, before he got let in. Which is, yeah. Because the cop goes on to say, his supervisor said, "Did you see him go in?" And he says, "No, he's in between the doors." Um, so then, yeah, long story short is Aiden ended up pulling his car over to the road and getting out. He did get out with his guitar and his phone. If I remember correctly, his mom thinks that he was taking off his shoes because that was how he grounded himself. That was kind of like the thing that they did. Um, his mom and his grandma were getting into the position, they were calling the 5150 on him and all that. But anyways, he just kept walking. Well, about 20 minutes after he left, so Aiden is 19, about 20 minutes after he got into the woods, he got out to play, relax. Okay. About 15 to 20 minutes after he got in there, the highway patrol came by, and his mom thinks he was running from the highway patrol. So the highway patrol though looked around, but instead of going in to look at in the woods at all, he gave him a ticket. And what I thought was he went and the search started right then. What I didn't know is it was a full day to until the search actually began for Aiden. Um, the issue that Aiden's mom is having is it was severely hard for Aiden's mom to get Aiden any type of mental health care during this time, the time of COVID. The doctor also gave Aiden this medication that, from my understanding, was pretty strong and never, no, Frank, I'll be frank, you're helping me a lot. A whole day, yeah, Michelle. Okay, see, the articles don't depict it that way at all. So that's why I originally thought it was foul play because it didn't make sense, the timeline. But then when mom was on his mom was on Sleuth Mom, and I actually understood what happened, then I was like, holy cow. So exactly, Remy, because of the pandemic. So when he got on this medication, what they think happened was it just completely altered his, especially with teens. I was talking to close family member of mine who's a doctor, and they said, "Oh my goodness, they have to, when you put teens on any type of antidepressant or anything like that, teens or adults, but specifically teens with paranoia, which we know he was having, you have to be so careful and they have to be so monitored." And even during the pandemic, this doctor said that there should have been at least follow up phone calls. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, Remy. Just to see, because those medications can actually completely cause hallucinations and stuff. And that's what they think happened with this medication. And mom did say that there was some slight pings, if I remember correctly, that was way up. They were trying to get searchers to go way up high and only offer group sessions. That's right. The doctors would only offer group sessions. And that is right. The school got him a therapist. And I remember, yep, they dumped him after 2 sessions. The therapist told him that he didn't need to come back. He didn't have, I guess, what the therapist thought was enough trauma to talk or something, I guess. Uh, and there's a switch in medication. If anybody in here has been on antidepressants, going off an antidepressant can be downright dangerous. Switching anything like that. He did have his guitar for a little bit, but his mom, from what I understand, based on what his mom says, she just has a feeling he might be up in this really high area, but she does think that he was trying to get to a spot to call her. And this poor mom, if you haven't watched Sleuth Mom, her interview with her, watch her, because this mom, like, she couldn't have done anything better. She could not have. I mean, she did everything short. She couldn't find him. He was 19, so she had nowhere. Yeah, I know, Michelle K. Oh, hey, allegedly Brittany. Um, oh, exactly, Remy. He's 19, so he didn't have, like she was basically just trying to get him home without, like, I don't know, in that paranoid state. She was just trying to get him home. Please come home. Where are you going? And then so she thought he's going to go to his grandparents. Then he'll be okay because he's going to go there. So she just kept trying to talk to him, and then just nothing. And her listening to her story is just heartbreaking because he just didn't get the help he deserved. Oh yeah, Prozac. I take Effexor, and I take it still because I've been on it so long, and now it would be probably worse for me to get off of it, but yeah, yeah. And it's so sad. Yes, she did. She begged so many people for help, and it's so sad because I think with the right medication, I think he'd still be with his cousin. With adequate mental health care, he'd still be with his cousins because adequate mental health care is, hey, you just started this medication. In 1 week, we need to do this and this because I need to make sure that you're not having any hallucinations or you're adjusting to this and yada yada yada. Um, and then I saw this and was like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah, Remy. She begged so many people, so the school and everything. And then it was like they were going to do a group session. He could have, and I remember this because they tried to do it with my son and years ago. And my son's awesome now and stuff, but there's like 8 sessions a year he could have through his school for group or whatever. And I want to be, yeah, I'm going to be, this is pretty much going to be raw Parker right now. Okay. I'm going to share something with you that I haven't shared with many people. Okay. And there's a reason I want to share this with you. Okay. Because I want to tell you that I want, I want to tell you about this story because it has to do with mental health, and it has to do with the difference of what you can financially afford and what's available financially to our country. And so I'm going to share this story. Um, I think I've shared some of it in the past. So before my oldest son was, she only knew about his weed card. Right, that's right. So before my 13-year-old was born, a year before, it was in 2007. Yeah, like early 2007. I did, I just developed, I didn't, one day you wake up and you don't, I just decided I was going to try to lose weight. Basically, the long story short is I ended up in a hospital at 98 pounds. I mean, when I say 98 pounds, my husband's hid all the pictures because he can't deal with them. I mean, I was pushing death, like pushing death, 98 pounds. Um, I wore a youth large. You could see every vein on my forehead, every bone in my cheek. It was awful. and it wasn't enough for me. So I got put in the hospital because they had to, tube up my nose and stuff like that. I fought that for a really long time. Finally, they convinced me to go to a inpatient eating disorder facility. One that at the time I was just married, right? So we had state insurance. So it was one that took state insurance and they would cover it for 30 days because that's usually what a state insurance will do. Um, when I say that it was one of the most traumatic, this is going to make people might clip this. I don't really care. I hope they clip the good parts. When I could say it was one of the most traumatic, awful experiences. Oh, hey, I'll be frank. Okay, thanks. Um, Remy, yeah, in my life. So, one thing about an eating disorder is there's actually no worse thing you can do for an anorexic person than put them in a room with 20 other anorexic people. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm crying. It was very traumatic. It it's a competition. Oh, thanks, Tia. It's a competition. So when I walked in, if I kid you not, I had probably 20 girls eye me from the cafeteria and look at me. And in that moment, they hated me. Because you know why? Because I was the weight they wanted to be again. So the first morning, the first morning, yes, you do, Remy. Yes, you do. I will never forget. I went to bed. I begged to bring a blanket. They let me finally after my aunt fighting them for she was like, "You will let her have this blanket." They let me have the blanket. I laid down. I will never forget at 6 a.m. the next morning. The lights flip on and this woman yells, anorexic Jessica, is that you?" In that moment, I lost my identity because I was anorexic Jessica. Thanks, Angie. Oh, thanks, Remy. Yeah, I'm not, that's what they defined us by. The girl that threw up, she was bulimic. Say her name was Jen. Her name was bulimic Jennifer. I was anorexic Jessica. If I could, it was, yeah, Brittany, I'm not even kidding you guys. I'm not even kidding you. On my life, this is what happened. Anorexic Jessica, I get out of bed. They say, take your clothes off. Take my clothes off. Every morning, you walk right to the bathroom. You go with all the rest of the girls. They stand there, tell you to hurry up. You walk out in a line, you go. They tell you to turn around so you can't see your weight. They weigh you, and you just become, and then you sit all day long. You sit all day long. I'm not kidding you, because you can't exercise. So we would have a couple hours of these group sessions every day. And the rest of the time, we would sit on a couch, except for 10 o'clock. I can even remember the times 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. And those were when you weren't eating our meals, which were where we sat in a cafeteria and we all died inside. And they would play songs like, do you remember when Chris Dougherty's song, I'm Going Home, came on? They would play that on repeat. I'm not joking you. I'm not even joking you. This was in White Plains. Yep, you're right. You're freaking right, Remy. And we would all sit in silence. And you knew every one of you was in the same position of dying inside every time you had to take a bite. And then the times we weren't eating our main meals, we were sitting there in the cafeteria pumped with Ensure. To this day, I can't smell it, to gain weight. And then every morning, they would do the same thing and they'd weigh you. And you would just sit in your own skin because you knew you couldn't be released until you got your weight up, but every second your weight went up, you felt a little bit less of a person because your mind wasn't being fixed. And so, and Remy's right. It's same thing in drug rehab. It's the same exact type of thing. And then, but because I was in what my state insurance paid for, I had 14-year-olds in there. I'll never forget a 14-year-old trying to take their own life with a sheet in the other room. I will not forget this woman who was probably my age, barely alive, like screaming in the other room, and little kid, the 14-year-old's crying and stuff because this woman was crying. It was, I remember like a guy kicking a counselor, or a girl kicking a counselor because she had gained like 5 pounds. Exactly, Remy. But you can see by Remy saying this in their post as well about drug rehab is the lack of what you can afford is the treatment you get. We tried these private places, right? These equine things or something. There was several Christian ones that we tried. And the guy was like, well, for 30 days, it's $140,000. We don't take insurance. Um, and finally, my aunt was like, so only rich people can get well then. No one believed me. That was the worst thing, Michelle K. That was the worst thing is the gaslight. Because my family, they didn't know. They thought because I had lied to them for so long, with the eating disorder that they couldn't totally. I was 5 hours from my husband. He was a wreck. They could only believe that I just wanted to get out of there. So, and like they sit there and listen to your calls, like while you're on the phone. But then I'd go in to see the therapist and the psychiatrist or whatever, and she would see my chart and say, "Oh, okay, so you're on." They call it Medicaid. Do they call that everywhere? I guess it's state insurance. Okay, so you have 30 days. So here's your time frame. And like each week, I knew it didn't matter how much weight I gained because I was going to be there 30 days because that was how long I was there. So I knew I was there. And my husband would come on the weekends when he could. He'd drive out but you know, I just recently told my aunt about what happened in there, and she just cried. She's like, "You've never told us." And it makes me really scared. Um, yeah, exactly. There's ones you have to put 20K down on to stay there. And so my whole point of this is it is really bad. I was there 30 days, Brittany. I went in September 26, 2007. I was released I was released October 28th, 2007. Went to an outpatient facility. I was out of that by like 3 weeks. I just withdrew from that. And I think within like week five, like I think mid-November, I was back to not eating again. And then I said, the only way I will ever eat again is if I get pregnant. But I thought that would never be possible because I stopped my cycle because I was anorexic. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Michelle K. I might regret this. Big figure when I was 11, different circumstances. Exactly, Angie baby. Um, I wasn't even having my cycle anymore because I was anorexic. Well, I went to the doctors because my boobs hurt. And sorry to any guys in here. And she comes in. I hear her go, "Could you be pregnant?" And I said, "No, I don't get my period anymore." She's like, "All right, Jet," because she was really awesome. And all of a sudden I hear her go to the nurse. She goes, "Let's just test anyways." I said, "Okay." And then I heard her go to the nurse. "Does she know?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And she comes in and she's like, "Honey, you're pregnant." And I was like, "What?" And just like that, boom, I started eating and I never went back because I know it sounds weird, but my son saved my life because it was like freedom, like it wasn't just me anymore. It's so weird. Does that make sense? It was like, boom. All right, now it's not about me anymore. I don't know. It's just a bizarre story because there's no reason I should be pregnant. Yeah, it's not what you see on the films, Remy. I didn't go to rehab because I didn't have insurance the first 7 times. Wow, Remy. That's amazing though, Remy. You came out in the other side. I know, Tia, isn't it? So when I am joking around with my son, I'll tell him, or he's like being sweet or something. I'll say, "Well, you really saved my life." Um, yeah, it's a pretty bizarre story. It's just, you know, but yeah, Brittany, that's the thing. What people see on the movies, uh, our mental health system is really messed up. And ki- what happened to me, what happened to kids like Aiden is happening all the time. And I don't know what the answer is to fix it. But that's part of why I won't engage in some of the drama on here because I'm not going to be the reason that somebody is pushed over the edge or that somebody ever has to feel less than. And I did for a long time. But like, I will never forget. I'm healed from it now, but I'll never forget somebody saying anorexic Jessica and just all of a sudden that was my identity. Yep, Michelle, okay. Oh, thanks, Tia. Yeah, Remy, it's hard though. But yeah, we have got to be sensitive on here and everybody in this chat has been sensitive, I think. To people from what I've seen on here. We all have our moments. But yeah, it's yeah, Remy, it is our mental health system is severely because I had family willing to battle with me. Like I had my husband who's amazing and I had his family and stuff and they went through the Brittany, they went through the fire with me, but there aren't people that have the family and that does scare me for I don't know how to explain it and I don't know what the answer is, but I think more lives that bring awareness to it are good. I mean, Michelle, I wouldn't have known she had a story. Remy, I would have never known you had a story. Brittany, you might have never been to rehab, but I'm sure you've got some stories. Angie, baby. I mean, everyone in here, I think we have some form of story. All right, Michelle, okay. I hope you're okay. I hope I didn't bring bad stuff up for you. Yeah, Tia, but I mean, we all have a level of, like, yeah, you don't ever, I don't know. But I think mainly my whole point of that is that the reason I feel so okay, I love you too. Oh, see, Brittany, stories for days. The reason I feel so strongly about Aiden right now is because I think all of us here, well, most of us have said we have some sort of mental, is because we can almost be in his shoes of that panic that he must have felt. And so I want to like make sure I'm committed to people like Aiden's mom who are desperate for help. Thanks, Angie baby. Hey, one minute. Yeah, exactly, one red rose, exactly, and that's the and I think my friend says that my best friend is awesome. She's like the best special ed teacher. She's amazing. She says all the time that like I'll say, "Oh, my kids have just been off the wall," and she'll be like, "Okay, are they allowed a bad day?" And I'll be like, "What?" She'll be like, "Are you ever in a bad mood?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, so your kids can be in a bad mood, right?" And so that changes my perspective because sometimes I think we forget that kids can have mental health issues, and we just think, well, they're kids, they should just be happy all the time and want to play. And 100%, Remy. And that is exactly what happened in this situation. It's exactly, Remy. They could not get the care. You're welcome, Tia. I have mentioned a little bit about my eating disorder in the past, but not along the lines of what the actual. And I'm not saying every facility is like that, but I will say that if to go to a really good one that is going to really give you the mental health therapy that you need, it is very costly. And typically, the insurance does not cover it because insurance usually doesn't consider it um, a necessity. They think it's a choice, and unless you've struggled with an eating disorder, or that's why I don't like the alcohol shaming on this community. Holy cow, it's horrible. Unless you've been an alcoholic, unless you've had an eating disorder, don't ever speak on it because thanks, Brittany. Like you have no idea the battle that is in somebody's head trying to get sober or trying to overcome. It's not just a choice. I mean, I would not choose to be now. Starting it is a choice, but when you're in the middle of it, I don't think it isn't a choice anymore. It becomes, and some will disagree with me, it becomes something else at that. Exactly, Remy. That's exactly right. I think when you start it, me choosing to stop eating was my choice. Starting to drink was your choice. But when you get in it, it's not a choice anymore. Yeah, Remy, that's right. As parents and family, we also need it. Yep. Yes, exactly, Punkette. I try to be super cognitive about my counselor always says, be cognitive, but make sure you don't put your issues on your kids in a sense of don't make up symptoms that they have because you're worried they're going to have it. Just be aware and start to know the signs and hey, turtle gum. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. All right, Tia Dash, thank you. Exactly, Remy. Tick, tick, tick. Turtle gum is so awesome. Exactly, Red Rose, right? We don't just wake up one morning and say, I want to do something that's really going to, it's pretty much going to destroy my life. What could that be? How could I do it? That's a great reminder, Red Rose. No, it comes from us battling some sort of wound or trauma or hurt that we've needed to find something to cover that up with. It'll come that we need to cover up some pain that we're feeling, and we happen to stumble on something that works. And once you start, and then once it works, it's crazy. I'm glad you reminded me of that one, Red Rose. You're right. I can't imagine, Brittany. I know just from not eating what it did to my brain, so I can't even imagine. Hey, Nana X, glad you caught me too. I'm sorry, guys. I know you didn't ask for my entire life story. I thought that might help you better understand why I'm so passionate about Aiden, and I'm really passionate just about these kids right now that are kids and people in general. We are addressing is a word as a country, we are addressing a lot of the things surrounding what is causing things, but we're not addressing some of the roots of these things, like our mental health system. Me too, Brittany. Yeah, Parker's a pretty big mess, just a solid mess, but and we're very open with my kids. It's weird. We drove past White Plains when we were on our way home from New York City, and both my husband and I went, "Oh," like it was this sick feeling we felt. It's weird how you have like those episodic memories of driving by and stuff, and it's just that sick feeling you feel. And my kids all went, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Well," and I didn't get into details. Obviously, I did not share what I just shared with you guys, but we did say, mommy was in this, and yeah, exactly, one red rose, and this is what happened. And because my daughter will say, my daughter's like 70 pounds soaking wet. She's 12. She's super tiny, but she'll say things like, "Oh, my belly's fat" or something. And so, um, we try to make sure like we curb that, and we're pretty honest about things like that now as they get older because I want them to understand some of the pressures. Oh wow, Remy. It does win one red rose. I think having more topics like this would be really good because I think it would help us understand, because I think there's a lot of people in our community that are struggling that we just don't know. That's why you'll never see me make fun of Granny's recovery, Alex's recovery, anybody in here's recovery, because I know that though mine's not alcohol, recovery of anything is a freaking battle. And it's just horrible. Exactly, Remy. Every single person is worth saving. There's a huge stigma around mental health and addiction. It's terrible. And Remy says it perfect. Every single person is worth saving. Everyone matters. Not if you're just a celebrity and can go to a high-end rehab that's like, top of the line. Everyone matters. And the reason things don't get better is because, well, we treat people like, uh, celebrities, I guess. Exactly, Remy. I agree completely. Going to that hospital for me in that therapy, no, it was a joke. But the whole situation might have been different had I gone to one of those $150,000 equine training therapy places that have like a 95% success rate. Absolutely. But I couldn't afford that. And that's the problem. And it's just a tragedy. Wow, I got way off what I was going to originally talk about tonight, but that's all right. Well, not really, because we watched that video. And I think that, you know what? I think it was that video that really hit me when they left that boy and they were arguing about who was going to take the boy. Was it going to be the cop or was it going to be the mental health facility? Because I could relate when they referred to me as anorexic Jessica. I thought that boy will forever remember no one wanting him in that moment, no one wanting to help him. And that's part of why I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to, I need to do the psychology thing. I need to do it. People, hey, Muffin Top. Brittany, I know. I think it would be amazing to get several people with stories in this community to come together, creators, subs, whatever, and just kind of share their stories. And be vulnerable, I think it would give us all a little bit more grace with each other, and we'd be surprised at how many people have endured similar things to each other. Um, I don't know. Maybe it'd actually be some good. Like when I look at Jessica and when I look at Alex as creators, I think I don't see like, oh, those are two people that were addicts. I see them as, oh, those are two people that fought their way out and are doing their best to stay out, is how I see them. Yep. No one should be shamed, I guess is my point. But all right, y'all. Well, we'll probably talk about this again. And if anybody ever wants to share your story, please email me. You are always welcome to use my panel because I think that the more people that we can start to just talk about these things. Oh, thanks, Nana X. Brittany, before we go, can you drop your link and Rena's link and Remy's and Turtle God or just anybody who's in here? I got to get some more mods. I will say, but for sure drop yours and hey Lynn and Rena's. Well, good, Angie baby. I'd love to hear it. Rena, if you haven't checked out, her son passed away. His story, that's a story for him to share. Thanks, Jen. I'm glad you're still hanging around. Um, but I definitely check out Rena's channel. You're welcome, One Red Rose. Yep, I'm going on. Let's see. When was 2007? 22. Okay, I can't even do the math. That's too far for me. 25? No. Okay, a lot of years. Did I just say 25? My brain is fried. Okay, I'm going on a lot of years without. Well, duh, my son's 14 years. All right. Woo! Remy, yeah, I would love to do that if you're willing to share. Yeah, Remy, I would. Yes, thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Lynn. Remy, if you're open to that, I would love to. Anybody that has a story willing to share, I think nothing but good can come from it. And if somebody uses it for evil, that's on them, and they will bury themselves looking like that. Brittany, same goes for you. Anybody? And I'm not saying you guys have to share details like I did, but I think um, bringing awareness, I just think it can do nothing but bring good in this community, in my opinion. Thank you, Lynn. I have awesome mods that I just recruited and made them start sharing things for me. Oh, awesome, Remy. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to get work. Maybe I can get Brittany too. All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to you later. Make sure you check out Brittany's live later and whoever else is live. All right, guys. Have a really good night. Thanks for listening to me and watching me cry again. All right. Bye, guys.